All right, welcome to the second session of our small business workshop here at the Mesquite Chamber of Commerce. Before we get started, this program would not be possible with our two sponsors. They raised their hand and they said, we want to be able to bring small business resources to our Mesquite small businesses for free. And all of these sessions are also getting recorded. They will be in a library online on mesquitechamber.com as soon as they get edited and put out there. But thank you for being here in person, because this is your opportunity not to just listen, but to interact with our speakers. That's why you're here today, because you wanted that first-hand experience with our speakers. And I'll introduce Mark later, but getting Mark here and y'all capturing his time, use that to your advantage. This is a person y'all need to know, someone with enormous knowledge. I'm super excited because this is a good friend of mine. So I'm just excited for what this session will bring for y'all today. Like I said, before we get started, I want to introduce my two sponsors. They're just going to talk a little bit about what they do so that y'all have knowledge of why they have sponsored, what they can do to help y'all, and how they can help y'all grow your businesses or grow your employees. So Spectra Bank, Julian Mullman, if you'll come up here and just talk a little bit about Spectra Bank. Give it up for me, Julian.
All right, well, thank you, Alex. My name is Julian Mullman. I'm a commercial lender with Spectra Bank. I say commercial lender, but kind of wear many hats at a community bank. We do specialize in helping small businesses grow, help understand your finances. We're not just bankers, we're advisors. I most of the time probably meet 8 out of 10 people I don't end up doing business with, but I will sit down and have a conversation with them, understand their business, give them some advice and some coaching if need be. We specialize, like I said, in small business. We do a lot of money service businesses, which is very much a needed community-based service for people who cannot get bank accounts or choose not to. We specialize in that. That's one huge aspect, and we also do a lot of commercial real estate. We do prefer small business owners who have owner-occupied properties. We do a lot of that. We do a lot of single-family real estate investment lending as well. Basically, anything you can think of that you may have a harder time with bigger banks, because they have much stricter guidelines and they do not have the ability to do what we do as small local banks. And that's just us in a nutshell. So if any of you have any questions afterwards, I'll probably still be here, and I'd love to have a conversation with you. Thanks. Next, I'd like to introduce our co-sponsor, America's Credit Union, Bethany, and have her talk about America's Credit Union. Thanks.
Good morning. My name is Bethany Hyde. I'm with America's Credit Union. I'm the business development representative for them for Mesquite, Dallas, a little bit of Lancaster. Honestly, it's been a privilege to be here to work with you. I mean, going on this journey and having the courage to do it, I might be difficult, but we are all here for you. Even the whole chamber is. So thank you for having me. America's Credit Union, we're a full-service bank. We kind of focus more on personalized and personal business. We don't have any business loans, but that's why Julian's here. But we have everything other than that. Who in here has a auto loan? Who in here has a checking account? Okay. Who in here pays more than 6% on their auto loan? I know someone does. If you do, call me. We'll be honest with each other. I can sit down with you. We can see where our lines cross. I'd love to support you in any way possible. My business card are in these bags in front of you. Again, if you have any questions whatsoever, please contact me. I'm always open. Even if you just need to talk, I'm here for you. Thank you.
Thank you again to our sponsors, Spectra Bank and America's Credit Union. Since I wanted to make sure that y'all get as much time with Mark as possible, I'm just going to go through a couple of quick things. This is the second session. Behind me, you will see the next sessions. So take note of the dates. Like I said, you're in person because you want to interact with the speakers. We did business plan last time. If you missed it, it's not yet up on our website, but will be very soon. This was one that you shouldn't have missed. So go back, review it, because I think this is the most important thing a small business can do. Spend time fine-tuning your business plan regardless where you're at in your business. We will talk about bankable, how to be a bankable, because guess what? Banks don't just sit ready for you to walk in and hand you money when you get there. They actually want to see financials, projections, all of those fun things. We're going to talk about marketing strategies, community relations, customer loyalty, business taxes, and your continued business growth. I'm going to let Mark do most of his own introductions, but the North Texas SBDC is the one that is covering Mesquite. This is the team that you would work with directly when you contact SBDC. We're big partners. I worked with SBDC for over 8 years now, and I've personally firsthand seen businesses grow from nothing to multi-million-dollar companies through their help and assistance. And guess what? It's free. So with that, why don't we all give it up for Mark Langford?
It's great to be here. It's always great to tell people about the services of the SBDC, which quite frankly, most people don't know anything about. Has anyone been an SBDC client or familiar with the SBDC? Julian's familiar. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we probably need to talk too. I think you have a lot of services for our small business owners. Let me start with, I'm going to start with a very just basic information for you. We are, as Alex, so the SBDC is funded primarily by SBA, Small Business Administration. So there is no charge for the services that we're going to talk about today, any of the services that we talk about today, because it's already paid for with your federal tax dollars. So I would highly encourage you to take advantage of your investment in the SBDC that you've already made. We're also supported by the state of Texas and by Dallas College. A couple of things that Alex was talking about up there, we'll talk about a little bit today, becoming bankable. And then Dallas College has really made a concerted effort in the past few years to work and have programs dedicated to small businesses. And we're one of those small business resources. We have been around 40 years, so a long-term program, but they have developed a lot of new programs, and they've also partnered with a program through Goldman Sachs, and you'll hear about that if you attend that event. If not, I'll just give you a 30-second. It's a great program, Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses. You have to have minimum revenue of $75,000, and you have to have at least, I think it's 2 employees and or contractors, and they want existing businesses. But that program I've seen that program make a ton of difference in businesses. It's a cohort. You're together for about 14 or 15 weeks, and you meet weekly. And there's no charge for that program, but you're in a cohort with 20 or 30 other business owners, and you work on a growth plan for your business. And that is really something special, especially with other resource partners in the room, economic development. If you ever run across a business who's poised for growth, but maybe needs another step, that Goldman Sachs program is incredible. But the SBDC, so we're all over the country. There's almost 1,000 SBDCs across the country. So it's not just today for you, but if you have relatives in Virginia or Montana, wherever, there's an SBDC near them. And you can Google or use your favorite search engine. Let me not persuade you. It's become a verb. America's SBDC, and you can put in your zip code and they can find the closest SBDC to them. And again, there's 1,000 across the country. It's a great program. For us, most SBDCs are one state, one SBDC lead office, which is what I'm representing today. We'll talk about Dallas Metropolitan, who will be the resource that you'll work with. Texas and California, just because of the sheer geography, they have to divide us into multiple regions. So we cover a 49 county area, kind of up in the upper right-hand part of the state. We go up to Oklahoma, over to Arkansas. And we cover Fort Worth, and then West Texas takes over, and then we go down almost to Austin. So that's kind of our upper right hand. So we have a dozen centers that help you, and we'll talk about those in a minute. seems like today most people are located in Mesquite or Dallas County, so we'll focus on the Dallas County resource. So it's the Dallas Metropolitan SBDC is the name of the SBDC that will help you. You had Karen Buggage out here last month. She's one of the advisors, so I think you can soon go online and see her presentation on business plans. And but we work primarily virtually, so you can just, one thing I think the pandemic taught all of us is you don't have to get in your car and drive 30 miles in traffic to talk to someone about how to grow your business. You can do that all online now, so it's been a lot more productive for everyone. So we're hosted with Community College, so Dallas College is our partner. So that's kind of the foundation. And now, as they say, we're going to skip to the good part, and then we'll come back and I'll give you some more of how we do this. But I really want to get to how we can help you instead of all this other fun stuff. So this is probably, because I know I have hopefully about 10 more minutes of your attention before the phones and the emails start getting to you. So this is what we focus on. So anything to do with your small business, any question you have, any problem you have, any idea you have is fair game. So it sounds like almost everyone I talked to today is an existing business owner, but just for the record, and if you know people who want to be rich and famous like y'all and own their own small business, you can tell them, oh, I know a great resource that'll help you start your business. So we do help people start their business, but we spend, it's about almost a 50-50 split on people who are starting their business and just have an idea, and we help them through the feasibility analysis, that last bullet. So we'll take that one first, just since we'll spend most of the topic on existing business owners, since that's the audience today. But for people who just have an idea, we really help them flesh out that idea. A lot of people are like, my family tells me I make the best cupcakes in the world. I should open a cupcakery. And we're like, okay, well, let's talk about what that would look like. And talk about the financial responsibilities, talk about the lease responsibilities, startup costs, where are you going to get that money? And then really dig into, is this a business or is this a hobby? And some people have different goals. For some people, they just kind of want, to be a hobby business, side gig, whatever you want to call it, where they start something that they can do and see if it's going to grow, but they want to do feasibility as they're trying out their business. And there's nothing wrong with that, as long as you can afford to do that from a low-cost service business or maybe a retail, where you're in a food business and you can share a kitchen with someone or something like that. And then we certainly help people understand what the permits are to start the business, how to get their DBA. We can't give legal advice, but we can certainly give you some guidance on LLCs, how to do that, some resources for that. So that's really for the startups. So let's talk about capital, financial analysis, marketing, and accounting, because those all kind of integrate. If you're going to have a business, you should be doing all four of these things. So we'll see in our network about 5,000 clients in a year. About half those people call us saying, I need money, I need money to get started or to get me over the next 6 months because I'm just in a cash crunch. So we will sit down and talk to them about, are they, is this a good time for them? Are they ready for growth? That sort of thing. So the reality is a lot of people aren't ready. They're not bankable. They can't walk into a bank. They don't have the financial statements. So let me start with this. If you're bankable or near bankable or want to become bankable, we can get you there and we can get you financing. But we saw 5,000 people. We helped about 200 people get loans last year. Not everyone is ready for financing. It is probably the last thing a lot of people need. But if you're ready to start a business, and we do the business plan with you and flesh it out, and the cash flow projections look good, and you're going to meet the bank's requirements for, debt service coverage ratio, all the assumptions in the business plan are supported by market research, which again, we can help you do. And you have, a reasonable credit score, and you have equity to put into that business. We can find you a banker. That is not a problem. We did, a couple of hundred loans last year. Those loans started from a $1,000 line of credit and went all the way to $9 million for a heavy manufacturer company. So if financing is what you need, we can help you. The reality is financing for a lot of people is the last thing that they need because they don't have all these things together yet. So they're not ready to go walk into a lender. So a lot of people are really good at what they do. But when it comes to having to wear that hat as a business owner, which means I have to understand, for some people, if they're reselling products and putting together things, they have to understand their margins. You have to understand what you're buying your supplies for from your vendors, what you're selling it for, and how much, and then are you making money, and is that worth it? So we really start with very foundational questions when we're talking to business owners and we're talking about growing their business, which are, what are your margins? What does your financial statements look like? And a lot of people, of course, will say, well, can I show you my bank statement? And that's a start. That there's nothing wrong with being at that point in your business. We've all been there. But we need to probably get to the next level of start with something like QuickBooks or at least Quicken to have financial records to take to a bank or a credit union so that they can make an informed decision. And also so that you can make an informed decision. I mean, one of the most critical things we do when we're working with a business owner is, what are your goals? And is this business going to help you reach your goals? Because for a lot of people, they may have another job that's allowing them to do this. They may have a spouse who's working that's allowing them to do this. So you really kind of have to set up a timeline for what is your goal and what do you want to be, where do you want to be at that time. A lot of times what we are is just an accountability partner. Our goal is to work with you long term. Our goal is to work with you from the beginning of the business and maybe even at the point where you're ready to sell your business. We help people with business valuation. If they've been doing something for 10 or 20 years, 30 years, and what we're seeing, of course, a lot right now, with really just this generation, is there's not as much interest in taking over the family business as there used to be. That used to just be kind of an assumed thing. Oh, yeah, mom and pop ran the restaurant, they had the manufacturing company. I'd love to do that. They're like, that is the last thing I want to do. I do not want to spend my life doing this all over again. So you have a lot of people who are looking to sell their businesses and they need a realistic valuation. So I say that to make the point that we're there from the beginning to the end and all points in between. Because even if you're 5 years away from even thinking about selling your business, you have to start making decisions now so that when that purchaser goes into a bank and says, I want to buy this business, again, we get back to, well, let's look at the financial records. Let's look if this can afford to support a loan, that sort of thing. So again, a lot of this then turns into helping you understand the internal workings of your business and understanding, am I making money? Am I making the money that I want to? Again, whatever my goal is. And just kind of, again, holding you accountable and then making decisions based on that. So, you can do a little bit with the financing in the sense of understanding your pricing and making sure that's correct. We certainly have all gone into restaurants that 2 years ago used to be $7 or $8 for lunch and now are double that. And that's tied to them having to pay more for labor costs, for food costs, for everything else. But you can't get caught behind on that. We're still seeing a lot of businesses who are struggling. We're still seeing a lot of people who are having a hard time making payroll. Just to be frank, we've had people just come in and say, payroll's next Friday. I don't know if I can make it. And if that's the first time they've reached out to us, at that point it's almost too late. There's not a lot we can do. But there is still, that's happening a lot out there. This is a very, the recovery has been great compared to where we were 3 years ago. The opportunities are there, but it's still a lot of work based on the commitments that you have. So we can sit down with you and make sure you're understanding you're charging enough. Again, a lot of those people are looking for a line of credit, and that's the last thing they need, because it just means that when they go out of business in 6 months after they have that line of credit, they're going to owe someone else the money. So we walk them through that. But we help a lot with market research and understanding your market. So we spend about $150,000 or $160,000 a year on market research tools. And all that information is available to you at no charge. We also have a national program that supports SBDCs that can do market research on a particular industry if we really want to get. I think where they come into a lot to help is with, they can do a GIS ring study to really get you information if you're looking to relocate a business and understand what's going on in that market. But on all of our advisors have at their fingertips access to an industry report. We subscribe to IBIS World, and if you look up IBIS World reports, that's a very expensive software for us, but the bankers love it because it gives you a lot of industry information. It gives you the trends of what's going on in your business, and it just really gives you a good snapshot. It's probably a 30-page document. We're not able to give you the whole 30-page document. We're able to go over it with you and give you all the information, and then they give you an executive summary of everything that's in there. And then we have demographic information information if you're looking to put a business in a certain area and you're wanting to know what the demographics are of that market. And then we have information on your competitors. So if you want to see what your competitors are doing and give you some insight into other similar type businesses in your market, they can do that. So that's probably what a lot of businesses end up working with us on, just better understanding their business so they can grow their business. Again, if you need money, we can get you money. If you don't need money, we can help you get there or understand why that would be not what you want to do right now. So we see a lot of people who come in and say, I need money, and we're like, no, you don't need money. You need more sales, and you need more sales at a profitable point so you can cash flow this business and pay yourself. That's what you need. So the market research tools are really where we'll sit down and work with you. So you'll be working with the Dallas Metropolitan SBDC. Karen has a lot of information. She also has some information if you're interested in getting certified as a minority or woman-owned business. She has a background in that. And then we just hired, who started this week, so it'll probably take her a couple of months to get up, but a digital marketing specialist. She has a background working in digital marketing for a major restaurant, because that's where a lot of people struggle. That's where we've seen people who have paid, a digital marketing consultant $1,000 a month to do 3 Twitter posts, 3 Instagram, 3 LinkedIn, all this, and you're like, well, that's not going to work. So why don't you come in and work with that? That was certainly one of the strongest reasons we hired her, because it's just, we don't do the work for you, but we can coach you through on how to do that and how to save your money from having to pay an expert. So come work with one of our advisors and get coached up on how to do that and do that yourself. Clearly, is it Alberto? We talked briefly, and he was instrumental in getting all the restaurants on Google. If your business, doesn't have that strong of a web presence where you're not showing up, we'll be able to assist you with that. Because we all do it. If you don't think we do it, look at yourself, and when someone says something, and then if they're not there, then someone else is, then guess what happens? So that's really a strong area that we're trying to focus on, because that's really something that can help you grow your business. So we're talking about growing your sales, hiring employees, that sort of thing. So that's our sweet spot, and that's if you don't hear anything else today, just know that that's how we can help you grow your business. And again, for a lot of you, it's going to be on the marketing side. I have brochures up here. I'm going to get to the other slides in a minute, but I do have brochures up here. Let's see. They have our contact information, I think on the bottom of this one, for is this the Dallas Metropolitan? North Texas SBDC, and it has kind of who we are and what we do. Alex mentioned, I think Karen mentioned the legal clinic in her last session, so there's flyers up here on the legal clinic. So we have and also a free legal conference call. And there's a QR code for both those. So the legal clinic is that is a program. We work with an attorney who works with primarily small business owners and has been not just part of our SBDC, but SBDCs nationally. She speaks at our national conference, but she's based here in Dallas. Her name's Tisha Dodge, and she's has this free legal clinic that's with Texas A&M School of Law. So for that one, you do have to fill out some paperwork to make sure you qualify to participate in that clinic. This free legal conference call is just through the SBDC. It's through our local office, and that's once a month. And you can just sign up for and participate in the call, and if you have a question, then you can ask Tisha that question. We get a lot of questions about LLCs. That's probably the most popular question for people who are kind of taking their business to the next level. But also about leases, and also sometimes, unfortunately, about going out of business and what the responsibilities are from that perspective. So this is a great resource that really just started a few months ago. And so I'll leave these flyers up here for you to get more information on. I do want to mention one other kind of specialty advisor we have, and again, I don't think there was anyone in the room who fits the business, but restaurants. So we've contracted with a restaurant expert named Chris Tripoli, and he's I guess I don't know if he would like to say he's semi-retired, but he sold his business, and if he's working for us at the rate we're paying him, he's semi-retired. Based on what he used to charge people, it's a real give back for him. And so he's a great resource. So if you know of anyone with a restaurant and they need ideas just about how to do a refresh, help with hiring people. Obviously, we're seeing a lot of people struggle with getting labor, and how there's a wealth of information on Gen Z and how to make them want to show back up to work the next day, if nothing else. It's the reality, so it's kind of what we have to learn to work with. But Chris focuses on hiring practices, how to freshen up your restaurant. We're right in the middle of a restaurant series. I think today is the third of 4. But those will eventually be up on our YouTube site. So if you Google North Texas SBDC, or if you go to YouTube and look up North Texas SBDC, Chris' seminars from last year are on there. If you have any interest in restaurants or know anyone who does, all 4 workshops are on there. But Chris works for us majority one-on-one, just like our other advisors do. So if you have a restaurant who is struggling, or a restaurant who's poised for growth and needs help because they can't manage all the growth, then we'll set you up to work with Chris one-on-one. All our advising, again, no cost, virtual, and there's never a limit unless we're giving you work to do and you're not responding to that request. At that point, we're like, until you go do this, we really can't help you move on. So now.
Mark, there are 2 channels on YouTube for SBDC North Texas.
I saw that the other day. So one doesn't have much.
Yeah,
so I think
one has 3, so I'm assuming that's the no-no.
Well, let me see. Yeah, there's Chris, the one that has 3 actually. 3 subscribers.
3 subscribers.
So there's Chris right there.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you. All right, so let me give you the who, what, where. No, I guess I gave you the what. But I do want to talk about some of our other reefs. We've covered a lot of this already. Make sure I'm doing okay on time. Yep, we're in good shape. I want to have plenty of time for questions and answers afterwards. So, as I mentioned, our money comes primarily from SBA. They drive this grant. Our only goal is to help you. The only goals we receive from SBA are related to economic development. So did we help someone grow their business, hire an employee, start a business, get a loan? So we have goals based around that. So we're very motivated to help you do those things. So there's no other gotcha or catch related to the SBDC. It's just focused on you, on your success. We do offer some training. Most of that is typically free, especially now that we're in the virtual world. That will probably be for the foreseeable future. We'll be having a speaker. We have a relatively new advisor who does a lot with lending. But yeah, he also helps a lot with other issues as well. His name's Jimmy, and he's going to be doing a financial literacy course for your business over the next few months with a virtual workshop. So if you become a client, you'll get those emails. And if you're not in the client mode yet, I'll give you my card and we can make you a contact and you can get the notices of seminars that we'll be having. But after the restaurant, we'll be doing financial literacy for your business. So obviously we serve everyone, women, minorities, veterans, LGBTQ, and rural populations. We do, as part of our client intake, you'll fill out a couple forms. One of those forms says we can come back to you in 6 months and a year and say, did we help you? And you can let us know if we did and if we didn't, what we could maybe do now. And if we did help you, so all of our economic impact is validated. So last year we helped about 350 people create a business, 132 million in loans, and about 3,000 or 4,000 jobs retained, and all those numbers have to be signed off on by the client that says, yes, the SBDC helped me do this. So we would ask the same of you. So I mentioned that it's a national network. There's the website for the national program for ASBDC. That's where, if you have any friends anywhere in the country, they can go in and put in their zip code. So these are some of our local partners. We've talked about Dallas College. So we're an SBA resource partner. So the other SBA resource partners are SCORE. SCORE.org is another great resource if you're looking for a particular industry experience. They are volunteers. Our folks are paid. There's also the Women's Business Center, which is located over off Stemmons. They see women and men, but that really was created about 8 or 9 years ago. And the reality is the SBDC taps into about 4% of the small businesses in Dallas County, so the more resources, the better. We all work together. We all support each other. It's not choose one, it's choose all. You're not limited to, oh, I don't want to go see WBC or SCORE because I'm already working with SBDC, or vice versa. No, go see us all. None of us are going to charge you, and SCORE has a wonderful website that taps into their national advisors, and you can go to SCORE.org and type in anything, and they'll find an advisor for you anywhere in the country. And that's really remarkable. Quite frankly, a little jealous, but that's. But they do. It's the lowest barrier to entry. If you just want to see what this is about, is you go to SCORE.org and you type in pricing or cabinet manufacturing. You might find someone who's done that in the past, or life coach certainly. You might find someone who's done that. I don't know about SCORE and Life Coach. I don't know. They tend to leave, but they're really working on their diversity and getting younger. So it's nice to see. And then the PTAC, if anyone's interested in government contracting, that's what they focus on. And then finally, the Veterans Business Assistance Center, the VBOC. hosted by University of Texas at Arlington. It's a great resource for veterans. When you say, I need help growing my business, they're going to point you right back to us because they have a staff of 3 people. But what they do have knowledge of is a lot of veteran business opportunities and resources. And Alex has a copy of these slides, and you're welcome to share these with anybody who's having to write all this stuff down. There was just a veterans business conference last week, and I was blown away with all the resources that are available for veterans that I had no idea about. And so if you are a veteran or know a veteran who owns a small business, have them reach out to the VBOC and they can learn a lot of opportunities that are available exclusively. So this is kind of what I talked about earlier. I think I talked to someone who has a family in Athens. So we partner mainly with community colleges, Collin College, Tarrant College. We partner with University of Texas at Tyler for the Longview area. But this is how we operate, and we do operate kind of based on where the college's footprint is. That gives us the money because they have to match the program, so we try to be respectful of the host. But if we have somebody who asks a question that we just can't find the answer to, we have 50 advisors across our network, and they can reach out and say, oh, I don't know this, let me bring in another advisor, and they'll help them and that sort of thing. That should be pretty seamless to you if that happens. These are all our SBDCs and all the counties that we serve. We've touched on these topics in terms of market research, financials, setting expectations, successful execution, that collaborative problem solving. That's how we work. I mean, we're just going to sit down or work with you one-on-one in a very collaborative way. Again, not to do the work, but to help you do the work. And managing those expectations of, a lot of people say, well, I just need a grant, and well, we can't get you a grant, for that topic. So it's hard to get grants, but there are a couple that I may. So these are our results for last year, 5,000 clients. As you see, we skew a little bit more towards existing businesses, but certainly pre-ventures are more than welcome to come in. Created over 2,000 jobs, 177 million in client capital. Again, about 45 million of that was owner investment. So we track if you've invested in your business. That's just as important to us as you getting external funding. And again, all those economic indicators are signed off on by clients. That's really our differentiator with Congress. We've gotten a little bit of money every year from Congress because we're one of the few government programs who can really support the work that we do with signed off data to say this is how we've helped clients. Coming out of COVID, PPP and EIDL ended, but the thirst for free government money didn't end. And we still get that question all the time. Are there grants? Are there grants? And there's more grants now than there used to be. Prior to COVID, there really weren't any grants at all, unless you had maybe an economic development group for a city who was doing a rent abatement to get an area going in a particular part that they were trying to grow that city in, but very limited, very focused on particular areas. But there are more grants now, and I want to share a couple of grants with our women business owners. So you will have to, I'll leave these up here if you just want to come write them or snap a picture, but I just looked these up yesterday. So TWU, which has a Center for Women Entrepreneurs, Texas Women's University, and they started this probably 6 or 7 years ago and been doing very well. And they have a grant, it's called a Start Her grant, and they do 25 awards. It's $5,000. And this grant, I believe the end date is October 26th. So it's coming up pretty quickly. But it's Texas Women's University Start Her grant. And they have a listing of the way the funds can be used. basically it can't be used to pay yourself, but it can be used for a lot of other things. So that's a $5,000 grant. I'll leave up here. It's available for marketing, purchasing, inventory, that sort of thing. This other grant is ongoing. This is called the Amber Grant. And the Amber Grant, they are giving away at least $30,000 every month. And the Start Her grant, I believe, is just an annual grant. But this one is every month that they're trying to give away grant money. And again, it's the same type of thing, where it's, from the criteria that I saw, it can be used for marketing, social media, buying inventory, just to help grow your business. So I did want to let you know there are a couple of grant programs out there, but there's not that many. But still, we can help you sometimes find those, and then oftentimes, but more often than not, focus on helping you grow your business. So I'm open for any questions.
Okay. You were speaking about those research programs, and I didn't understand the...
IBIS?
Yes.
Yeah, IBIS. Yep. So the way it'll work is, if you want to become a client, you'll send an email. You can either reach out to me, and then we really try to take care of the Mesquite Chamber clients and give them the white glove of treatment, because we appreciate them. So I'll give you my card at the end if you want it. And we'll direct you to our SBDC client portal. They'll send a couple forms for you to fill out, and then your advisor will reach out to you. And then when you're talking to your advisor, you can say you heard me, and you're interested in the IBIS World Report for your industry.
And then the other one, and I'll be finished. And
Sure.
The other one was the GIS ring study.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't understand that. I mean, you kind of zipped right through.
That's because I don't know a lot about
okay.
it. That's because that's done by our National Research Network. And I was looking at some write-ups yesterday. And again, all the advising is confidential. But it reminded me of our National Research Network. And I'm like, oh yeah, they do a GIS ring study. And Alex, do you know what a GIS ring study is a little bit, or no?
No.
Okay. It's when they look at an area that you're looking to put a business in, and they just do a lot of business analytics on that particular ring around that particular area. So I'll be better prepared for next time. It was a way to prop that up, because it's like, and that's completely free. And these people spend like 30 hours of research on a particular topic. And it's like, yeah, that's a great service. It does take about a month to get that information back. So if you're not in a rush, it's a great tool that we have for us. Yes, ma'am.
So for some of the programs that are available, do we have to just stick to one program at a time? Like, for instance, if I'm needing some like business coaching guidance and some marketing development guidance, can we just only do one at a time, or can we do multiple?
You mean one advisor at a time?
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you ask an advisor an area, so with Dallas, now there's 3 or 4. And if you ask for something like, I don't know a lot about that, so I'm going to let you, work with Alexis on digital marketing, because that's just not my strength. I can help you on this, but then I'm going to have you work with Alexis on that. Yeah, and you'll just have an appointment with Alexis, and you can work with both at the same time on both topics. Yeah. Yes, ma'am?
If for an existing business, and if we're looking to, we've kind of went through some of the backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Say backwards.
Sure.
We went through them backwards. I guess to kind of get on track so that we can scale to grow to the next level.
Right.
I guess we're bankable but not bankable. Now that you said that.
Well, it really just depends. I mean, that.
And I guess that's what I would need to see, because we have really kind of funded it and been doing it now for 3 years, and payroll and all that other stuff. So I'm at the point where we need to know that we're bankable, because now we need to.
Right. So, I mean, yeah,
We're a
that,
tapped out person.
yes, that's certainly something we can do, and that money can count towards, money you've invested in the business. You have to have documentation of that, which is why it kind of gets back to the importance of, having the financial records. But yeah, I mean, of course, for a lot of banks, they're going to consider any business less than a year old, some banks less than 2 years old, still startups. So the fact that you've been in business 3 years says a great deal. And so probably what you need to do is just, sit down with someone and say, because they work with lenders, all the time, and they can tell you what they're looking for, and if you are, and if not, what we need to do to get you there. Mm-hmm.
And also, would you have a banker in the room?
Yeah.
So feel free to, one of the commitments that Julian has made for me, that we'll get working on here in a little bit, is actually Mesquite Chamber banker for a day. So Julian will actually come here to Mesquite and answer banking questions all day long, not forcing you to sign any, no contracts, no nothing, just sitting and answering those types of questions. So just want to make sure that y'all know that we do have
There you go.
an enormous resource here in Mesquite for the small businesses as well.
Great question. Yes, sir.
As far as the process of coaching or working with somebody at the SBDC,
Mm-hmm.
what's the time frame as far as, is this like a 3-month process, or is it?
It usually takes about a week or two to get your first appointment set up. I mean, it'll take probably 3 or 4 business days for everything to get processed before you'll hear from an advisor, and then at that point it may take another 5 or 10 days, but not anything.
But as
longer.
far as the time we're working with the coach there,
It's up to you.
it's up to us. Okay.
We have clients who've been with us for years.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yep. And yeah, I think
So
it's.
it could look like, hey, we need help getting some traction, or hey, we've got traction now, we really want to scale to grow, anywhere in between.
Yeah, I would say for a lot of people, the people who get loans, it's very transactional. It's like once they get that loan, I'm good. I don't need you anymore. But for people who are, just trying to get traction, like you said, and really work on their business, that turns into usually, a couple of years, depending on what's going on with
Well,
your
I'm not that
business.
smart, so I probably do.
Well, it's all a work in progress, for sure. I mean, there's so many challenges. I applaud you all. Like I think the lady said earlier, for owning your own business in this environment. It's a lot of stress. I mean, there's no way around it. It's changed. It was hard before, and it's harder after the pandemic to do this. So I applaud you all for what you're doing, and if you're making a successful go of it, then the reality is we all still need these services, but sometimes finding the customers and having everything line up right, and then having the people behind you to support you, it takes a lot of effort to put that all out there on Front Street. Yes, sir?
I was just going to mention to you as well, so some of the biggest success stories that I've seen, one of the business owners, he went in with a business plan to the SBDC the first time, and 6 years later he was still going back to SBDC because as you're growing your business, new challenges come up. In the beginning it was, I need market research, I need to figure out where I should open my business. All right, then you got that done. Then it was like, you have my business plan in order, and he was working on that. Then it was, okay, I am now a 5-person shop, but I think I can go to say 10. He went back and was like, okay, how do I go from being a 5-person organization to a 10-person organization? And then when he had tripled his revenue, you have growing pains. So I think a lot of people look at SBDC as like a static resource that you go to once and you've solved you check all the boxes, you're done. It's not like that. They're there for you. Right. And I think one of like my questions, kind of prompted question for you, Mark, is, so as a new client, what do they bring? What's the first question when they walk in? What are the things that before they pull the trigger and fill out the forms online to set themselves up to go? what should they think about? What should they do when you first walk in?
Well, what their biggest pain point is, it's whatever's keeping you up at night, whatever wakes you up at 2 o'clock in the morning and says, oh yeah, I got to do that, I need to do that, but I don't know how to do that, That would be what you would come see us for. And yes, I would say the most successful clients do work with us long term because your problems change. Just like you said, we're seeing a lot of people right now, and again, this is what the legal clinic ties into, employee versus independent contractor. Because people don't want that commitment of an employee, so they want an independent contractor, but they also want to make sure they're doing it right. And so there's, you can research that, but there's nothing like talking to someone who's worked with other people. I see that a lot right now as people trying to understand how to use independent contractors. But I had up there business operations. We didn't talk a whole lot about that, but that's when you're really going from a 5-person to a 10-person, and the struggles of that. And at that point, you're going to make a decision. I was not here. I was out of state, nothing to do with SBDC, but at an apple orchard in Vermont. And it just broke my heart because I saw this guy who had started this orchard, multi-million-dollar business, bought another orchard a few miles away. It's an incredible business. He has still doing the work he did when he started the business, and you can't do that. And we talked to his mom, who's like, maybe when I told him to be the best, I shouldn't have said that. We talked to his wife, who's like, yeah, it's real. He's got some big decisions to make. And we see that with a lot of entrepreneurs who just love their business so much and want it to be so successful and feel so responsible that they will get up at 3 a.m. and drive the apples to market because the driver called in sick. You cannot operate your business that way. So as you grow from 5 to 10, that's where you've got it. That's when you make those decisions of like, if I'm doing the work of my employees, there's a problem. And it's hard to give up what you're good at. It's like, but this is what I did. I don't want to stop doing that anymore. But if you're going to be a business owner and not, a plumber, but now you're going to run a plumbing business, you have to make that decision. And that's, as you grow, one of the hardest things to do is to give up some of that control, hire people, trust people, and it never goes quite the way it's supposed to, but that's just part of the process. And we all learn the hard way on some of those decisions. So, but if you do it the other way, it's not going to work long term. I'll just say that. Not for everybody. Again, it gets back to knowing what your goals are. And if your goals are to have a family who never sees you and a mom who regrets telling you something, but you sell a lot of apples, if that was your goal, you're doing it. But I would guess when you look back, you're like, I need a little more life balance. So at that point, get yourself a life coach and see what they can help you with.
Thank you so much for being here, investing in your business and your success. That's what the Mesquite Chamber of Commerce is also trying to do. We want to invest in you. You invest in us, we invest in you. That's how it works. That's how we build this business community, one business at a time. Thank you again, Mark. Amazing. Thank you so much for coming down here and helping our Mesquite business community understand the free resources. Did I mention this is free? Take advantage of it. Don't like literally, I'm hoping all of y'all are visiting SBDC right now on your phones, doing the new client intake form. Set it up. It's 90 minutes of you investing in your business for free. So thank you again. Let's give it up for Mark. And I hope we will see y'all tomorrow morning for our networking event because community involvement should be part of your business plan. And next month, we will tackle how to be bankable and what you need to do to get your finances in order. So with that, we are wrapped up. Thank you so much.